Hi and welcome back to the Med Student Notes. This is going to be quite fun. I'm going to teach you Circle of Willis and the surrounding nerves in a way that you'll never forget. And how we're going to do that is with a drawing. And no, it's not going to be complex, trust me. The first thing we're going to do is make a diamond-faced man. This is his body, his legs. Now I'm going to make a little bow tie for him. Just assume that this is a bow tie, okay? This is it. This is the Circle of Willis. And I'll tell you how. These two arteries are the anterior cerebral arteries at the top of his head, right? I'm going to give him little sideburns, and this is the middle cerebral artery. And at the bottom of his face, not his neck, the bottom of his face is going to be the posterior cerebral artery. So we've covered the big ones. We've covered ACA, MCA, and PCA. Now to look at the rest. This inside sideburn is the internal carotid artery. And then this thing that is connecting the anterior cerebral arteries is the anterior communicating artery. And this is the posterior communicating artery. Now, the lower part of his bow tie is superior cerebellar artery. These are cerebral arteries. This is cerebellar artery, okay? And then this is going to be anterior inferior cerebellar artery. We've done superior cerebellar artery, so now inferior. Inferior, there's an anterior one and a posterior one. So posterior inferior cerebellar artery. Now his legs are nothing but vertebral arteries. His body is the basilar artery. So from the basilar artery, we get anterior inferior cerebellar artery. From the vertebral artery, we get posterior inferior cerebellar artery. There's going to be smaller pontine arteries. We're not going to get into that. So this is the major Circle of Willis. See, you finished it so quickly. Now we're going to look at the nerves. What I want you to do here is make two unconnected horns. And then inside, make little connected horns. Again, between the posterior cerebellar and superior cerebellar artery, make two connected horns. And then two unconnected horns, a little farther away. Then between the anterior inferior and vertebral artery, make two more connected horns. And then a little farther away, unconnected horns. And then there's going to be a few more tiny ones here. And then there's a squiggle here. And then another bigger one here. What are these? Let's check them out. This is nothing but your olfactory bulb, so cranial nerve 1. This is actually your optic chiasm, and these are your optic nerves, so cranial nerve 2. And then this is cranial nerve 3. This is cranial nerve 4. This between one is cranial nerve 6. This is cranial nerve 5. And these are cranial nerves 7, 8, 9. There's going to be your 10 here, 11 and 12. I put it here, cranial nerve 12. Oh, and let me just put in, this is the anterior spinal artery, okay? So, what you want to remember here is your cranial nerve 3, 4, 6 and 12 are medially located. 3, 4, 6, 12. The others are laterally located. Imagine that there's a saccular aneurysm here at the posterior communicating artery. Right here is the cranial nerve 3, right? So you can imagine that if there is an aneurysm here, it might press down on cranial nerve 3. And similarly, if there is an aneurysm here on anterior communicating artery. It might press down on the optic chiasm and cranial nerve too. So, this way, when you think about aneurysms and hemorrhages or any ischemic infarcts, you will be able to visualize what nerve is going to be damaged if you know what artery is going to be damaged. So, this will help you a lot in localization of lesions. And again, if this seemed difficult to you, I'm telling you, quickly just make the diagram again. Make it like 3-4 times, and then every time you get a question, this picture will come up in your head. You'll be able to visualize it, and it's going to be very easy for you to do questions. So, see, quick little diamond man, quick body, legs, bow tie, sideburns, and you're done. And for the nerves, horns here, inside connected horns, outside disconnected horns, big one at the end, smaller ones here, and of course, more arteries here, and then inside connected ones here, a little farther away one here. See, look at how cute this is. If you just practice this a couple of times, you will be able to visualize it very easily in your exams. I hope this really, really helped you. A quick clarification, I got this picture of basicmedicalkey.com. So you can see here that cranial nerve 6 is not exactly positioned in the place that I told you it would be. Now, cranial nerve 6 is differing a little bit across different sources because, see, it's going to start in one place and kind of extend, right? So in some places, you're only seeing it the way I told you, and in some places, it's being shown like this. The diagram I taught you was basically for memory, right? So take that with a pinch of salt and follow whatever source that you rely on for that. But either way, I hope for the sake of memory, the diagram helped you. If it did, please let me know in the comments below and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.